Yeah. Okay, and we are back. Welcome back to Boost on the Beach. We are here once again in Group A. My name is Oliver Bass, joined alongside by my boy Carson. How we do today?
Thank you very much. I'm doing great. We're at the very end for at least me and you. We've still got more action after us, but it's been a great weekend. Weekend, it's just starting. We've got some great players here, and I'm very excited to talk about Kansas and Charlotte, but really good matchup ahead, I think.
I'm very excited for this one. Before we do get into this matchup, let's take a quick little look at the group standings so far here today, because again, we are not just this matchup, we are not just this group, but we're in a whole venue here with a whole event here at Boost on the Beach. This is Group B standings with East Tennessee University currently at the very top. It's not necessarily surprising to see this. Etsu is an incredibly solid team. The thing is, we're starting to see some other teams pop off a little bit. Florida Southern College currently at 2-0. University of Tennessee Knoxville at 1-1. Again, we expect that team to probably be the second seed coming out of it, but as the day is developing, we're starting to see some other favorites.
Yeah, we're only 2 games into this one, and we're headed to our third basically here. And what you notice about both these two teams are the only 2 teams that are at the bottom right now of the standings. And I don't think that fully tells the story.
No.
Both games for them. Kansas obviously saw that game 4 on stream. Last one went to game 5. These guys here on UNC Charlotte have been up twice and just could not find it all the way to the end. I believe they got reverse swept in the first one, went game 5 against Florida Southern in the second, and they are a very interesting roster who has a lot of potential.
This is a great roster. It's been around for a while. Shout out to Bala. I feel like he's kind of one of the OGs for them, but now he's got some new company in both Knight and Lazy. This is a very, very solid squad. I feel like UNCC has kind of been on the rise for not only a minute, but a hot while. A lot of people look at both this program and the team as kind of next up and coming. They're an incredibly impressive roster, and that's why it's kind of surprising to see them without a win so far here today.
Yeah, 49ers here. They've had a tough schedule to go for sure, but this might be their first opportunity against Kansas. But let me tell you, this Jayhawk squad has been playing out of the roster. We'll talk about them in just a minute. But for these local squads here, we'll see how they can stand up, especially to a squad like Kansas, who's been playing out of their mind right now.
Kansas is punching above their weight right now, and that's not me trying to say they've been playing poorly, but like, this is a team that should be doing okay. But Meave, Alpaca, and their third in Swift have all of a sudden just kind of like popped off, man. Every series they're in isn't competitive. Every single series they are in, they're punching above their weight. And it's an incredibly impressive thing to see. The only question now becomes, can they actually sneak out a win against a UNCC who simultaneously also are trying to sneak in a win?
They're a interesting bunch. They're playing like pests right now. Charlotte, I don't think, has had to do that. They've gotten to play their own game. And how Kansas is really working it right now is, when do they kind of take over and force Charlotte to play their game, and can Charlotte adjust? It's going to be all about how the 49ers can feel on the Jayhawks end, but it's going to be really interesting to see.
It's going to be a fun day, and it's going to be a fun best of 5 here as we continue on our way through the group stage. Like we said, all of these teams will still get a chance tomorrow in playoffs, but right here and now we focus on the best of 5 for the 2 teams to try and get on the board and give themselves the best seeds possible. Again, all eyes on Kansas. We're expecting them to continue playing up to the level of their opponents, and for UNCC, if they go to another game 5, I feel like they're going to lose their minds.
Yeah, for UNC Charlotte, they're just hoping this one's quick, I think. Actually, they're just hoping for a win no matter what way it comes.
Yeah.
Great support bunch out here has been loud and proud throughout 10 rounds of gameplay. But boy, that Kansas squad is peppering the net early. Charlotte needs to get out of their own zone, and that's going to be big. How can Kansas keep pressure on UNCC? Because they have not seen that pressure for themselves on other squads.
Yeah, it definitely kind of feels like UNCC right now are kind of hitting the highs and lows, if you will. Some performances we've seen from them throughout the day have been incredibly impressive. Other performances have unfortunately fallen a little bit flat, but I expect them in this series especially to not only flex those mechanics, to really keep it close against Kansas at pretty much all times. I do not expect multiple goal leads. I do not expect it to be blowout on either side. I did expect this one, though. A little bit of a weak defense for UNCC. They look a little frazzled, and that's the first one to Kansas.
It's Main Street right now in South Carolina for Kansas. That is a amazing goal. Great opportunity. Just a rebound chance that's done the right way. That's textbook. And Kansas, the Jayhawks, up 1-0. I got to say, this Kansas squad plays such a hard strength of schedule to compare to some of these other teams at their level. I think they're a lot better than people give them credit for, because for some reason, Kansas has always got some top 5 team on their schedule. Top 10, top 20. They play at least 5 top 16 teams a semester.
Yeah, again, this is what happens when you're, D1 athletic program and you're playing up against other D1 athletic programs that also have incredibly high caliber squads. Again, they play in a couple of different leagues, but I think about like PEC in particular, where you've got like Baylor, Syracuse, Michigan State, programs with very historied rosters. But apparently, when they play the other parts of the pack, they know how to perform. That's 2-0 to Kansas.
Yeah, UNCC is not a power school. They are a D1 school that has all the major D1 programs you're looking for. But right now, it's Kansas, the Jayhawks, taking that real Power 4 feeling right now. It feels a little bit like an FCS game right now, where you're just seeing how well this Kansas squad transitions in the offense. They were doing it well. It's what really kept them in the game against ETSU. And I know we were talking about that game potentially being a Game 5 Kansas series if we're talking out that game too, but they have been really good in the Jayhawks in transition, and UNCC cannot move that ball right now. And that's all you're seeing as Swift dumps it into the other end, coming back now for a chance. And again, UNCC just kind of having to throw it back in the middle. Kansas capitalizing, even with no boost. They're getting real offensive chances against a squad that's got full.
Just not a lot of connecting plays right now for UNCC. That would have been another against them, but this time, Lazy's making the save until the follow-up. A little miscommunication as both Lazy and Bala commit to the ball, and neither one able to make it.
Third time's the charm as Alpaca gets the final shot off there, and there's just nobody in time. UNCC actually overshot at a double commit there. That makes sense. That's a double commit you kind of got to do. You're praying somebody hopes it. Get someone on the ball. But for Kansas, again, now 3-0, and UNCC falling behind. I think more than is really shown. They're suddenly now going to have to adjust to this Kansas squad and play against them. Alpaca binding it down over to his teammate. Once more forward, it's Meave into the left side off the post, and UNCC is lucky to not be down 4.
Kind of feels like right now UNCC just playing reactionarily. A lot of the things that they are doing on defense are just kind of diving at the ball in moments of weakness. But speaking of moments of weakness, numbers advantage go the other way, and UNCC take advantage.
It's a good reply. UNCC's been down big goal scores, in these Game 5 series. They're in their 11th round, only in their 3rd game right now.
Oh my gosh.
And it's been a long day. It's going to only get longer. I see a friend right here. I don't know who that is with I believe that's Knight with the Italy flag. And
yes, sir.
He's hoping to play like Italy baseball right now, on fire. Might need an espresso here with how long they've been playing.
Yeah, honestly, that Italy baseball game's got to be giving them some sort of fuel right now. Because, again, they need all the fuel that they can get. Like we said, they started off 0-3 in this game. It's 3 conceded and then 2 in response.
Ball of the originals, 2 consecutive goals for the 49ers, who may have struck gold on momentum here. 2 minutes and 14 seconds. They really need to get some sort of rush going, some sort of gold rush, if you will, because they have got to score now. You want to be in the driver's seat against Kansas, and suddenly they've really figured out this transition game. Knight again off the face-off, creating some pressure, and UNCC won't leave the other zone. Trying to find a centering pass. They're going to have to go back to Lazy, who's got to tap it up, hopefully waiting for somebody there, but Knight's in that middle game, and now it's Kansas's possession in a tough shot there. UNCC's really playing that middle transition game in a very risky way. They don't want to play defense very clearly, and that's going to be how they play defense, essentially.
It's going to be a lot of aggressive plays, a lot of rush passes, and again, that's kind of what you need to do. You need to have full confidence in the plays that you are making. Passing plays like that are not a bad idea either. If the shot had been just a little bit to the left, it would have resulted in the tied ball game, but instead, we go into the final 90 with now Kansas on the other end. This ball, though, thrown back into their half, so Swift has to throw it to the corner where Alpaca is waiting. Immediately challenged, though, so UNCC desperate to get out of their half with low boost totals. Get back boosted up, though, so they'll actually be prepared here if necessary, and it might be. Good touch off the backboard there. Is it going to be enough to clear the line? Not quite. Swift out at midfield, though. Doesn't make any contact. And now you're starting to see it. UNCC very eager to get out of the half, but Kansas a little hesitant. They don't necessarily want to make challenges that they don't need to. Probably should have been a challenge there, though, because instead, Lazy not only gets the free transition out to midfield, but he gets the boost and a demo.
That's very big right now, but Kansas, we've seen this team excel against ETSU in this very sense. The Buccaneers could not get it out of their own zone. But UNCC, once they're there, they've been very efficient. 2 in a row, obviously, at that around that 2-minute mark. But again, struggling all the way for the Niners to get out of the zone. Kansas just there like a mosquito, and suddenly there's an open net. Excuse me, no. That's Bala there, the older player, doing a big thing for UNCC. 30 seconds, long shot. Bala, a snipe from deep. 27 seconds. 3 3 straight goals for the Niners.
The comeback of a lifetime here for UNCC, and unfortunately, the missed opportunity of a lifetime for Swift, because I think he realized the same time that I did, that goal is going in. And unfortunately, as he tries to jump for it, he just doesn't have the time to get it off the bar. Maybe could have pinched it, maybe could have tried, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. It's a theoreticals game at this point, and now it's a game for 1 goal. With 20 seconds to go, we are in golden goal territory. Otherwise, we're heading to overtime.
We're back to 0-0 here at 15 seconds, and Kansas undeterred rather, by that real 3-0. They're still going on the offense, very aggressive end here, but UNCC has really found
Wait a minute.
it. That's
Wait a
2
minute.
demos, open net, 3, they get it in the air. It's a block, shot by Haka, into the corner again. Knight, back up top, back into the corner. Nobody's there to get it off the ground, and we have overtime in game 1.
That was a huge opportunity to close that game out early, but unfortunately, it's not going to happen. And instead, we go to an OT where now it's officially golden goal territory. Next goal wins. And it could be an early goal here for Kansas, or it's a pitch the other way. Bala on the ball up early, and the redirect will end this OT 12 seconds in.
From deep, Bala from Charlotte has scored 2 goals from beyond the midfield line. It was the goal to tie it and the goal to win it. The 49ers with 4 straight goals to win game 1. Goodness golly.
I'm blown away by that. I don't know what's more impressive. The fact that they do get the 4-goal comeback, obviously, or the fact that also Bala just knew what to do with that ball. That got thrown right in front of the net, and a lot of times you would try to maybe, I don't know, look where your opponents are, try to play a little strategically, get a possession. He goes up instantaneously and recognizes that the defender that is coming from the right side. What do? Shoot it near post, because he's expecting you to go left. It's a perfect misdirection. It's a great way to win the first game.
If you can make a shot from anywhere, why not from the logo? And that's exactly what Bala said. They weren't fast shots. They weren't really like big pinches with great momentum. It was a midfield shot that just kind of went up, perfect top right corner both times. And now the 49ers are sitting in a completely different situation. They were down 3-0 going at 2 minutes and 30 seconds here.
That is incredible to think about the fact that we got to halftime basically, and that team had not scored a goal. They scored 4 consecutive in underneath 3 minutes. That's over a goal per minute if you can do the math. Impressive stuff here from UNCC, but to be honest, I was kind of expected to talk a little bit more about Kansas on this one. We actually got into the series, and the Kansas players look at us like, yo, you gonna glaze us on air? You gonna talk a little bit of, you hype us up? And honestly, after the way the game started, I was expecting to. So to see, unfortunately, the collapse there for Kansas was not only unexpected, but really uncharacteristic for the way that they've been playing here today. Similarly, that's an uncharacteristic miss. Meave off the backboard with an almost immediate double touch opportunity, and he can't convert.
Got to earn it if you're Kansas right now, and they keep relying on 50-50 balls. One guy characteristically who hated that was Tom Brady, because eventually you're going to lose the coin flip. And right now, Kansas lost too many coin flips. UNCC got that perfect, essentially, comeback into UNC Charlotte. The 49ers are really doing a good job now to keep it in. But again, it's kind of starting the same way last time. Kansas, in the opposite of last time, Kansas unable to get out of their own zone, sort of like UNCC.
Chance here, though, as Meave can take this one to the corner. Unfortunately, the heavy touch will throw it straight out to Bala, who's got time, space, and a little bit of a flick out center. I think the Musty was supposed to have a little more power, but honestly, the touch perfectly finds its way to Lazy, which means now Knight can also get in the mix. UNCC getting some good possessions early here, and the fake out. Bala with time and space, a good 50 under 1. The follow-up, though, goes straight to Swift, who will try to clear it off the half. Lazy's got other ideas, and unfortunately for him, we'll need some backup. Bala, another good save here. Bala's been real impressive the first 2 games, and he might even get himself a goal as a result. No, the 50 afterwards is won by Kansas.
Not enough boost there, unfortunately. UNCC still going to have some offensive chances here as Lazy reinforces with the boost. Never mind, Lazy has to back up. Gets a boost steal and is going to recuperate this UNCC offense at mid. The 49ers, they beat 1. This could be a great chance. Here comes the second shot, and Knight buries it home. It is 5 straight goals between the 2 games for UNCC.
Incredibly impressive recognition here also from UNCC to go up for this one early, to recognize that they need to start swarming the net. The one place that Kansas has been the most exposed has been their defense, as they've been able to dive at balls and make last-second saves, but there's not often a follow-up. And if you throw it to the backboard to even pull out that initial defender who doesn't even get the initial save, that's obviously a clear lane to get the next goal and to start off game number 2 in the right way. Like you said, uncontested right now is UNCC since game number 1 within like the first minute. That is the first time that we have seen a goal at this point, but looks like we might need a second. I think there's a call for a pause at this point, so we might need to stop the game.
I am unaware.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. There's a pause here, 1-0.
Bring it back to us. We can talk a little bit.
I
You
gotta
know,
put
yap it
my
up.
iPad down because it's too far. I can't stand properly. So yeah, I mean that's I'm not sure what the pause is, but
We'll find out. We'll find out. Some technical difficulties. It's all right. It happens. You know,
Small
we,
ones,
we
yeah.
play a video game,
Honestly-
and it's not always perfect. You know?
honestly, we've gotten a great deal of not tech issues for today.
That is a good point. That
And
is actually a really
I may
good point.
have just sent the ultimate jinx in the world out, but you know, I'm thankful that we've made it to.
I'm just gonna
5 p.m.
I'm
4?
just, didn't we literally just have like tech issues before this series
Yeah, the
started?
internet turned off, but it was like a minute. It was fine. I mean, if the internet's off, as long as it's on again, then it's not.
You know,
tech
that's a good point. If it's a slight delay, do we really count that as a tech issue if it was immediately resolved? Honestly, I think that's just like we give a +2 to our support staff here because
Yeah, I mean-
they're super cool. Massive shout out once again to the people at the
Yes.
Hangout here for also helping us get this one started and
Yes.
making sure everything's working out. You can see us on the screens behind us, you can see us here on camera, and you can hear us in the venue. Again, it's an awesome place here. We encourage everybody to visit Myrtle Beach. It's an incredibly cool place. The venue itself at the Hangout is awesome, as well as also all the other attractions and things that are around us here. So really cool place, really cool time, and we really appreciate you guys for sticking with us here. Like we said, we're going to figure out what those technical issues are and then get right back into the game. But in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about UNCC,
Yeah.
man. Holy cow, what a performance of the first two games.
0-2 start, and I mean, you can see why they went to 5 twice.
Yeah.
They're in round 12 now, and we mentioned needing some sort of caffeine at the end of this. It's still about 2 hours for these guys. They've only got 2 more games, 1 more tomorrow, but it should be fairly easy to get through for them. I mean, it's going to be a lot harder to beat this UNCC team with how much of really endurance they've probably gained today. I think we're going to be looking at them tomorrow. If they keep playing like this, if they keep finding a way to do miraculous things, that kind of game one, if that happens more often, you're going to see a squad like this against ETSU. Some fist bumps are happening. I don't know if we're like mid-game, but
We might be back
We
into
might be
the
back.
game. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here at this point. Like we said, you might have really jinxed us
Yeah,
on
I
this
might
one.
have
Man.
sent
This is
us-
very
I-
impressive. The caster curse is something we haven't talked a lot about here today, but you might have brought it out in spades at this point.
thank
here.
goodness.
Uh,
Great golly.
We do, like we said, we're trying to figure out everything, make sure that everybody's all set for the series that we've got going ahead here. Hopefully this will be a good back and forth between the two teams as, again, we expect for Kansas to not necessarily have this type of performance going forward. I know that game number 1 obviously was impressive, but game 2 so far has been almost entirely UNCC. So I wouldn't be surprised if when we get back into the game, it's the same sort of story here. I really do think, though, that UNCC kind of are still not being represented properly. Again, I expect this team to do really well in this group stage. The fact that they are 0-2 coming into this and we're kind of having to like hype them up in
Yes.
theoretical sense feels a bit odd.
Yeah, I felt like it was going to have to be the other way when I was
Right?
looking at the schedule, that I was going to have to say, hey, like this Kansas squad's really good. Saw it earlier. But
You promise.
now we're both at a stage where these two teams feel very even. And, you know, I still think we have probably the time. I want to know who you think is going to make it out as the group stage, not the group stage winner, but second here, because this is very interesting now. Florida Southern's moved into that 2 spot technically.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Like theoretically, I want to say it's still UTK. And I think there's obviously a world where it's going to be, but I do want to give a shout out to Florida Southern as well, man. That team is seriously good. A very sneaky squad that's got a lot of incredibly talented players on there. So I'm not surprised to see that they are currently sitting in the second position, but I still have faith in UTK
Yeah.
for a number of reasons. A, it's UTK. And B, again, the largest support crowd of any team here. Legitimately, I know we talked about it today, but they're like rolling 12 deep, dude. It's insane.
Yeah, shout out to, I don't know whose mother that is on the UNC Charlotte side.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw them up there. They've been great. They've been awesome. We like to see when there's fans here. A lot of, I mean, it's so special at the LAN event. I can't.
Dude, I love
I'm
it.
speechless because I love the atmosphere around here. Boost on the Beach is one that I've noticed gets a lot better of an atmosphere, and it's because
Yes.
all these teams are very, very local. I mean, UNC Charlotte's 2 hours away. Kansas is, they have
I wouldn't
to fly.
say Kansas is local.
or it's a 17-hour drive. So I
Yeah.
believe so. You know, apples and oranges. But yeah, I mean, I have to wonder who's going to make it out and what they have there with the whole squad there. I mean, they're 12 to a 1,200-foot Airbnb.
It's insane.
I mean, that's absurd. There's like 8 dudes in a room
There's
sleeping on the
dedication.
floor.
There's dedication also, not from an official varsity program. It's
Yes.
a club program, man.
Yes.
They're all here on their own dime for the sake of, let's do it.
Yeah.
I respect it a ton. I also, like you were mentioning before, really do want to give a shout out to the player parents that are always in situations like this. It's really cool to see that there's so much support. I don't know about you, but especially like when I was growing up with video games and stuff, I don't
Yeah.
really think that there was a system like this, and there wasn't the opportunity for, the parents to get involved like this. Speaking of which, let's get back involved in this game. UNCC and Kansas will resume. It is still the 1-0 to UNCC, but it looks like the tech issues have been solved.
Yeah, I don't know how much support we're going to need for this UNCC squad because there is just such a big crowd there, and even in one person, it's just having that support is very cool, and I do want to highlight that. 2 minutes and 50 seconds remain right now for this squad. Kansas getting real tight on the other side, trying to find a way through. They really are forcing it here, kind of extending a chance that might end up going the other way if they don't get their boost back here soon. They have to kind of leave it there, run away. UNCC, what a shot, it goes through, but a save by Meave is better. Back on the other line, still fighting for it in UNCC's Kansas's territory, as UNCC nearly goes down at the line. They have to back off now with a lack of boost, but Kansas taking too long. Somebody's come to brawl them in the middle, and UNCC, the physical play continues. Off the wall, Meave pushes it away. It's a restart, basically, for their offense.
This has been all possession for UNCC after the technical timeout at this point. It has been a lot different than even what we were seeing before said timeout here. Kansas really struggling to get off their half and really string any plays together. Every single play for UNCC is at least an air dribble that beats out one, and eventually there's a follow-up from somebody else there. Balla looking for the redirect off the sidewall. He will find it, but it won't go on target as multiple players from Kansas in the way. Now Kansas's turn on the other end. Meave, a good setup to the backboard, but very easily defended by UNCC. This is more the structure I was expecting from UNCC. This is more the professionalism in play that we had been anticipating.
Yeah, and I have to give another big shout out right in front.
Oh, goodness.
Balla nails it. One-timer, 2-0. Goodness gracious. The 49ers with the opportunistic offense all day. Kansas left one there. Nobody's there with boost. And it's a top left screamer for Balla, who's now got his third goal in the last really like 5 minutes.
Balla's come to life, and that's a good thing for UNCC and a terrifying thing for Kansas. You expect Balla to kind of be that guy. Like we said, he's the vet here for this squad, and you now expect him to nail another shot. That one turned away by Meave this time, though. But UNCC starting to find their form. That goal that they just scored, I know a lot of people might be looking at it like, oh, it's a regular shot. I promise you, that angle is a heck of a lot harder, and this is undefendable. Balla finds another. It's a little bit of a steal, but honestly, for his performance, I think it's a just reward.
Yeah, it's a brace now for Balla. 4 goals in the past first and second game, got to imagine. Very good feeling, and I wanted to give a shout out again to player parents. She sees a bump and she understands that that's such a big moment.
She knew that was going to be a goal.
Like, that's
knew
absurd.
It.
Well, Kansas gets another, at this point, trademark face-off goal, and it's been, they've gotten really lucky, and I've been told it's not St. Patrick's Day, which I did not realize.
I am not going to lie.
Nobody told me that.
I really did. Like, I was listening to you guys talk about St. Patty's Day earlier today, and I was like, I don't... do I have to be the guy to tell them that it is not St. Patrick's Day?
All the parades are today, so it's basically St. Patrick's Day in my mind. Anyway, Kansas has gotten a lot of very good looks off of the face-off. I'll be celebrating 2 St. Patrick's Days, so I see no problem with this.
Hey, look, man, I wish it was a little part of me kind of wishes I was there celebrating for the parades, mainly just because I know my girlfriend is very upset that I'm not there for the parades. But you know who isn't upset right now? UNCC, after 2 games in a row of just kind of finally putting the pieces together, this is more the confident victories that we were expecting from them even earlier in the day. 3-1, obviously, there is enough time for Kansas to find a response, but it's been 3 unanswered in this game. It was 4 unanswered in the last. UNCC, when they get hot, man, it is a streak like no other.
Yeah, obviously we just mentioned that it isn't St. Patrick's Day, but right now it might as well be in Chicago because they are painting the river green right now. UNC Charlotte has done a great job every way around, every nook and cranny of this game. Very aggressive, has kept the transition game perfect. I mean, that touch alone right there that Lazy just had prevented a 3-on-0 offensive chance. They know what to do. They know they're buying time, and they know they're better at this than having to play very tight defense and waiting and facing a barrage of shots, which they haven't all day.
Game number 2 going to UNCC definitely at this point. Could be a goal for the road for Kansas, but it won't. It's spiked into the corner, and that's a 2-0 lead. I want to make sure, if I'm not mistaken, that is not the first 2-0 lead they've had because they got reversed. No.
Yes.
They stopped the reverse from UTD?
They would have had to win if they stopped the reverse. It was a reverse.
Okay,
they were up 2-0 on UTD, 2-1 on Florida Southern. They got to find a way to close this one out, and let me tell you, it looks a lot better than those 2 series because those first 2 games between UTD and them were tight, both overtime. Second one against Florida Southern, overtime, late game winner. This is a lot different, I think, for Charlotte, and this is a very different feeling for a squad now who's got to look at it as, hey, this ain't over. We're not done. 2-0. We've been here a few minutes ago. For Kansas, though, they have to really figure
gotta
it
lock
out in
in.
the middle game, because that's where they were winning, and now that's where they're losing.
It does kind of feel like for Kansas right now is a lot of disjointed plays. I'm not seeing a lot of passing plays that are connecting to the same success rate as before. I feel like the defense, again, as we talked about even in games 1 and 2, is very frazzled. When the pressure does get against them, you start to see them double commit, make some odd challenges in some places you wouldn't expect. And for a Kansas who has played exceptionally well today, I want to see them get back on track. I know that they can. I have faith in Kansas to push this series a little bit further, but I also have faith in UNCC now that they have started to come to life to close this series out in 3. Game number 3 officially underway, and it is UNCC on offense immediately.
Yeah, I mean, this UNCC squad has done a great job everywhere around it, basically doing what Kansas did against ETSU, but they're doing it better for all terms and purposes. They are fanatically getting in the way on those transition games. Cannot find a time that Kansas has gotten multiple shots off. I mean, that's a dump in. Kansas should have full boost there. They're ready to go into it, and they just get pushed away. And now suddenly UNCC's got offensive chances everywhere. They're playing it back towards the middle, and that's a big whiff. But again, you're just seeing it's constant pressure against the Jayhawks, who are birds of prey, who have no way to fly right now.
Yeah, they're trying their best, but again, like we said, it's a lot of reactionary defense. Everything that we're seeing from them is a dive here or there, just try and get a wheel in the way of the UNCC offense that is being able to flourish through the last 2 games. And it still seems like the same story here. It's not a bad play from Meave, though, as he fakes it around 1. Can't get it even out to midfield. Alpaca will try to assist him, but with 2 players upfield, nobody's prepared to follow up the play, and this gets to the backboard, and then into the net. Balla, great heads-up awareness to get to that one. Incredibly impressive.
That is an awesome goal. I opened my mouth and I could not. I am in awe. I am in shock and awe right now. That is a fantastic top right goal. Balla's been playing opportunistic all game. And what's happening again with Kansas is that suddenly it's just they learned that they needed to be aggressive against ETSU, and they can't turn that off. They need to take time to wait, but UNCC's not letting them. It is complete smash mouth Rocket League in every way of the word, getting in the way as Knight pushes it forward. Another chance. Nobody there to collect, but it forces Kansas to use up all their boost. It'll get dumped into the middle and basically just be a UNCC chance at some point. Here comes a demo. Nobody there. They push it back towards the middle. Kansas done a good job without any resources to keep this one alive, but back in the offensive end for UNCC, who's just, I can't even describe the chances they are trying to get right now. It's all bounce passes, all middle sector, all top of the map.
They're literally going for everything, and to be honest, the reason they are is because Kansas is starting to give them that space, and it's not even due to the hesitation, it's due to the fact that they're diving at everything, not making contact, and then immediately afterwards there's a lapse in the rotation, and all of a sudden UNCC can take advantage of that. So Kansas right now got to calm down. It does feel like they're a little jittery in the moments that they do not need to. They've got the time, and they definitely have the boost. Something you talked about before is that they've got crazy boost totals. They're not being starved out, so a lot of the challenges that they are making midair should at least be meeting somebody. Speaking of which, Meade goes diving for the ball, cannot find any contact, and I think that's the end of yet another Kansas offense.
UNCC has done a very good job opportunistically. Balla scored the last 3 goals, all of them on rebound chances, and that's what they're hoping for. There's an open net. Alpaca gets there in time. Balla again into the corner, has to basically reset up, but this team has got to back off once again, and they're going to take a very long, drawn-out offensive chance. They missed 2. Is there enough boost? Yes, there is. Lazy gets the 2nd goal. That could be the coffin if Kansas's offense's woes continue.
And this is what we talked about with Kansas getting a little over-eager. That's a pre-jump out at midfield just to try and get in the way of a shot that never even came. He's up early. That goes underneath him. All of a sudden, it's a numbers advantage for UNCC the other way. And for you UNCC, who are playing exceptionally well right now, you do not want to give them a numbers advantage. You definitely don't want to give them a free kickoff either. And Balla might just lead his teammate to victory. That's a great play from Balla. Recognizes the 50, sets up Knight. Tees off, that's 3-0.
I know who my player MVP is, even if he didn't score another point at this point. I mean, this is fantastic work. Balla into the middle right there. 2 straight. Now it's a brace for his teammate Knight. And suddenly, very, very quickly, this game is getting out of hand for Kansas. We said right before the 3-minute mark this game was in reach at 1-0, and now we're down 3-0. And I don't know how to feel about it. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to feel about this Jayhawk squad, who has gotten a little lucky truly on the defense.
I cannot believe that was not a goal. I can understand why this is a goal, though. Actually, very well-constructed play from Kansas. They make the transition quickly, and Alpaca recognizes he does not need to get to center. He just needs to remove the defender. Meave, perfect finish, and that's more what we've been looking for from Kansas.
Yes, and they take very little chances. They're always quality, though, and part of that is Alpaca. He is a great playmaker. And again, here, if Kansas can get some good luck on their side, they've had it before, they got to just get out of the way for UNCC, because the UNCC's been beating themselves a little bit in these last games. Just the aggression is so high that when they lose in a transition battle, they immediately give up a goal. There's no fight on the other end. The problem is that when they're really aggressive, some of their players just randomly get another goal, and that's what happened here. More opportunistic plays for the 49ers. Kansas thinks they have a full transition game, and for some reason, Lazy drives right at the ball, which makes no sense at all, but Kansas wasn't ready for it.
I mean, I think it's the double commit. I think he just recognizes that, like, if they're going to send 2 on the ball, yeah, maybe I shouldn't challenge this, but, like, we can afford to if they're both there. Technically, would still be numbers the other way, and, man, the numbers only piling for UNCC. Again, this has got to feel good for UNCC at this point. We've kind of been waiting for this version of them all day, and I'm sorry that Kansas has to be the victim of it, but my goodness, are they putting on a performance.
Yeah, I've said it before. I'm going to say the same pun again. The 49ers have struck gold at this point, and it is an absolute rush on net every time they go on the offensive side. It's just total pandemonium. They're throwing every one of their resources at the same ball. They'll triple commit to stuff, and UNCC just doesn't care because they believe truly in their heart of hearts, if there's 3 of us and 1 of them, we're sure to score a goal. And, you know, I got to respect those odds. I really do.
They're playing incredibly well right now. Again, this is the UNCC we've kind of been waiting for here today. It would especially be beneficial to them for not only being able to win this series, but doing so in a 3-0. It's great for the game differential. It's great for just confidence going into the rest of the day. And honestly, I think this is, again, UNCC really deserving to have their victory lap at this point. Although, that's another for Kansas. They're within 3. They're starting to show they do have that transitional offense. It is possible.
Yeah, Swift there with a great pass, and that's what you see all on the PEC. Kansas really gave Boise State some struggles because of this. You know, Boise State is a great playmaking squad, and I'd like to say that they learned from Kansas and Alpaca because that squad is a little younger than Kansas's squad, and what you're noticing there is Ball's 3rd goal is what I'm noticing on 7 shots. This guy's armada on the net, but what you're noticing is Kansas's playmaking ability is so fantastic, but UNCC shut it down just by not giving them the ball.
Dude, every time that we try to give a little bit of confidence to Kansas, we're like, all right, we're starting to see the comeback trail. UNCC respond instantaneously. Incredibly impressive play from UNCC. I continue to give them my compliments, but with 50 seconds to go, this is all but a formality. If Kansas can manage this comeback, I will be beyond impressed, but unfortunately for Kansas, they're barely getting out of their half as it is right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, if they make a comeback on this, I genuinely would believe in it. I would believe.
Would you bet your mustache? I know somebody who did that, who actually literally bet that there wouldn't be a comeback within that time.
I'd probably at this point,
especially with a 5-goal lead at this point. Yeah.
That's Ball's 4th goal, well earned, and I mean, it's again just over and over. These chances never end, and so much aggression. You don't expect it to work out all the time, but like it's kind of like I don't know, like. I mean, if they don't get the ball back, how could they score? If we've got 6 on 4 in a power play, how could they ever score if we never give them the puck? And that's exactly what UNCC's philosophy is. And
oh my goodness.
The post, they're very lucky for the post at Kansas. It might be 10-2 if it wasn't.
That's probably the first shot I've seen Ball actually miss all day at this point. He has been on fire, but unfortunately there he couldn't quite convert. It will make no difference, though. Regardless of how this game ends scoreline-wise, it is a dominant victory for UNCC, and Balla does get his get back. He gets another chance at this one. It is 8-2, and honestly, with 4 seconds to go, I could even see this becoming 9-2.
Goal differential is important.
Extraordinarily.
And they're patting it on. They've had some issues with it. I'm sure they're in the positive at this point, I'd have to guess. They were very close in just about every game. They played, I think, more overtime, more rounds than anybody else. Being in game 3 after this, or 4.
I called it.
Yeah, it was a really good call there, huh?
I knew it. I knew they would go for it, man. The double kickoff. Shout out Carmine Corps for, I'm not going to say inventing this, but popularizing it. And that was a race between all 3 players to see who could get the goal. I appreciate that, like, literally all 3 of them were like, I know this is free. Who gets it?
Yeah, that's really funny. It's stat padding right now for UNCC, who I imagine is a little disappointed that ball 50-50'd in that way. They were going for 10 there. They are a very aggressive group, and that's, I think, what you're going to learn if you're learning some UNCC ball right now. UNC Charlotte, they will not stop. Every time on the 50-50, it's just a roulette wheel, and they're going in all in every time. They put a goal on the line basically every play, and for them, it worked out that way. 9-2 win. Goodness gracious golly.
Yeah, 3-0, 9-2 final game. That is the UNCC we've kind of been waiting for all day. It's an incredibly capable squad, but I feel like, again, it's been heartbreak after heartbreak for them so far here with Game 5 losses that they just were not anticipating to take. Yeah. But now they find themselves the win that they were hoping for. And again, than they were expected to take. We really did expect that here. I think the narrative that we had coming into this, though, was that Kansas was punching above their weight. The problem becomes is that as soon as that they're kind of no longer hot, that they're cooling off a little bit, this is more the gameplay we expect. This is the result we more expect. This is UNCC finally finding the form we've been waiting for.
Charlotte just took them back down to earth if they were playing above the clouds right now
seriously.
at a certain point. The 49ers, we watched this replay, I almost said role play. We started off 3-0, by the way, for Kansas.
Yep.
This looked like this was going to be a Jayhawks roll, and suddenly 250 mark, we get about halfway through the first game. Niner offense turns on. It's a 3-3. They go to overtime. They win 4-3. 4 straight goals. They shut out Kansas once more, excuse me. I mean, I have no idea how you get going like that in a certain way. Fantastic job by the UNCC squad. You love to see momentum build like that.
I was waiting for this one, the stat sheet
Oh
here.
my.
How many goals did he have? 11 goals to Bala. And the most impressive part, he's shooting 11 on 16 shots. That's an incredibly high shooting percentage. It's an incredibly efficient player here. Shouts out to Bala for that one. An incredibly impressive performance from him. Similarly, I do want to give a shout out to Lazy on this one, though, as well. 6 assists, man. Again, whole team firing on all cylinders. Incredibly impressive performance from UNC Charlotte.
Yeah, you like to see teams really do a great job, and what you're noticing there is Kansas, despite conceding more goals and far more shots, to be honest with you, gave a lot more saves than UNCC did because UNCC just never gave up the ball. It was constant offense, constant pressure. They pushed the marker forward, and you love to see it.
All right, well, folks, we're not done here for the day, but we do got to get off the stage for just a little bit. When we return, more action here for Boost on the Beach. Our group stage will conclude. We'll see you in just a couple moments.
So what brings you to Myrtle Beach?
He finally got her big promotion.
He finally gets to enjoy his retirement.
Look, we had to get our big guy out here before his special day.
We had to get this little guy out here for his special day.
When you want to go to the beach, any reason is a good reason.
We came here just for the show.
We come here every year just for this view.
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The beach for any reason, any season. What brings you to the beach? Visit myrtlebeach.com.
Something magical happens when a place becomes your place. It doesn't take long to realize this is exactly where you're meant to be. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The beach is where you find your perfect harmony. It doesn't take long to realize this is exactly where you're meant to be. You belong at the beach. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Hi, what brings you to Myrtle Beach?
I just needed to disconnect.
We just needed to reconnect.
We're celebrating 30 years together to the day. We're celebrating 30 days together today.
When you want to go to the beach, any reason is a good reason.
It's our first trip without the kids.
It's our first trip as a family.
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The beach for any reason, any season. What brings you to the beach? Visit myrtlebeach.com.
The beach is where you shine when you dine, and the moment takes over. It doesn't take long to realize this is exactly where you're meant to be. You belong at the beach. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
are inching closer and closer to the pinnacle of Boost on the Beach 2026. One more match stands between the end of Saturday and the full playoff stage. And what a treat it is to be back on stage. My name's DJ TJ. With me, as always, Mr. Bepic.
Feels good to be back, TJ, and closing out with a bang. I think I've been spoiled today. I've gotten all of the UTK matches, and so I've had the phenomenal crowd of Tennessee fans up in the rafters up there. I'm sure the restaurant's getting annoyed with them, but that hasn't stopped them whatsoever. And now Charlotte has to deal with Tennessee and the entire pack of volunteers, but they can match that volume because they've got Knight's mom.
Oh my gosh, you want to talk about the one person who can counter Tennessee. 1v10, I'm taking Knight's mom every single time. But we have a lot to go through. I don't want to waste too much time. Group B has been a treat, and the standings reflect that. ETSU comes in as one of the clear favorites of this event. They have struggled here and there, but at the end of the day, they remain on top.
Yeah, ETSU, I mean, top seed, but still, this group could go any direction at this point. Florida Southern having a great land so far, 2-0, and for those Moccasins, I mean, that's a team that you look at in the same sort of light as a UTK, as a UT Dallas, as a UNCC, where they have a very high ceiling of potential when it comes to this trio, but they're not always achieving it, and they also suffer some weird losses here and there, and so if they can keep this momentum going into Sunday, we could see FSC make a run, and they haven't played on the main stage yet, which they do get to do tomorrow morning, so hopefully they are fully prepared with the wind behind their sails to play here tomorrow morning.
I mean, the schedule's been all over the place, so Florida Southern, I think, one of the only people who have benefited from the schedule being the way it has, because they've gotten to play back-to-back. They're playing East Tennessee State, and they're going to get a small break into Tennessee Knoxville. I imagine that matchup right there will set the sails for the 2 seed, whoever it may be. And also to set some ground rules in case maybe those of you who have not heard of the format, the top 2 out of each group get a bye going into tomorrow, as everybody makes it to tomorrow. So to get that extra room, but then to also have that kind of like, we're one of the top 4 teams already. It's a whole different world going into Sunday, especially here at the Hangout.
It's very valuable because you get to sleep in. And I think we all know that most of these players aren't playing their best Rocket League at 9, 10, and 11 a.m. in the morning. And so getting that bye, getting to start a little bit later has got to be nice. You also get a break. I mean, if you still have a group stage match, which I think maybe 4 teams don't have a group stage match. I'm not going to try and remember off the top of my head perfectly, but some teams do, so you get to sleep in regardless. And so a bye will be very nice, but still a lot of Rocket League to be played here at the Hangout. And I mean, looking at this matchup right here, Charlotte are going to have their hands full.
But you want to talk about slipping into something more comfortable, this is our grounds right here. We are a big fan of these 2 teams, and let's talk about Charlotte. Bala, Knight, Lazy, and of course Dead Devil coaching this team. They have gone through changes and changes, but they always seem to be contenders, and they have been at this event all 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, they also have a lot of chemistry built up as a team. Bala came in now a year and a half ago. It's been a hot minute, actually, for this Charlotte team. Yeah, we're kind of getting old. Time's slipping away on us. But, man, I mean, you're talking about a UNCC team that has seen some highs and they've seen some lows. And on LAN, they saw a low at DreamHack. There was no Bala there. Dead Devil was subbing in. But as a program, Charlotte, they've got support behind them. And they're not a varsity team anymore, but you still have the benefit of being peripheral to a varsity esports program. And so, Charlotte, you got expectations here. And hopefully they're more accustomed to the venue than some other teams. So I'm hoping they feel comfortable and right at home here on the main stage.
Well, you want to talk about a team that is comfortable in the party dynamic. Let's talk about Tennessee Knoxville, the exact opposite of the varsity standard. They set their own standards, and they play up to them every single day. Taibu, the man to look for on this team, the cornerstone of offense and the pillar of defense on this Knoxville roster. Shaka, my favorite bald-headed 20-year-old, love him to death. And not to mention Captain Jobro, who has been a cornerstone of the culture in Knoxville for this team.
Don't forget coaches Jeezy and Kong. I mean, come on now. They're the cornerstones of this roster, standing behind the players, making sure that they are keeping the energy levels up. And it's hard not to in a venue like the Hangout. But, man, this Tennessee team, so much fun to watch because it's not just the Taibu show. It can be. Taibu can take over a lobby, but I think their passing game has really been what's taking over the lobby.
Well, and I'll say this as well, it's been the Shaka show today. If anything, he has looked incredible, and one thing that we always talk about with this specific Knoxville roster is that they don't put in a lot of hours, but also they don't need to. They show up, again, they set their own rules, they play by them. We'll see how tonight goes going into Sunday, and at the end of the day, this team's going to show up and compete whether they are completely ready or completely not. They're going to give you a show, and that's why they've got the entire Rocket League B team, C team, and miscellaneous players cheering them on, and this right here is one of the best key matchups of the entire day. Bala and Taibu, both incredible players.
And we've got some of the most mechanics packed into two players that you could ask for in this key player comparison. And Bala leading the charge a little bit more in the goal department and the assist department. Man, I haven't gotten to watch much of Charlotte. Bala is really facilitating the offense. That's what they need. That's why they struggled at DreamHack. Dead Devils, a good sub, but he's not Bala. And so to have Bala here at Boost on the Beach, Coach Big Man behind them, I mean, come on now. This is an event that Charlotte can make a splash at.
I don't think that Dead Devils are going to take much offense to that either. This roster looks completely different. But without further ado, once again, there is one more match that stands between crowning the winners of Group B, the contenders of tomorrow, and the losers of the day. It's Tennessee Knoxville and Charlotte.
And it's Taibu taking a shot immediately here in game one and setting the tone. UTK strike off kickoff, and already Charlotte's got to deal with the background noise.
7 seconds in. You cannot afford to let this team and the cheering section get hot. They are not just a 3-man team, they are a 13-headed monster.
Yeah, all 9 of their substitute players are cheering from the rafters and making sure that this UTK squad keeps the energy levels up. But here we go, Lazy and Knight. They've been a duo for, I think, 3, maybe more than that years now. Like I said, time has been slipping away on us. These two have so much built-up chemistry. Honestly, when you're looking at duos with time spent playing with one another, Lazy and Knight are right there with Jobro and Shaka.
Already 30 seconds in. How about another shot for Lazy? A big bump is going to take out the last man. Nobody is anywhere near to be seen, and Knight's mom is already fighting back.
Yeah, that 1v10 that you referenced earlier has begun. UNCC giving Knight's mom something to get excited about. And there are other Charlotte fans in the building, just not quite as vocal. So I'm sure they're getting loud elsewhere as well. Okay, actually they are getting more vocal. I don't know if that came through on the stream. They are upstairs here at the Hangout, but still very happy to see Charlotte scoring back so soon.
And they've got to get over here and they've got to support their team ASAP. I mean, there's only 3 teams who you could call hometown teams in the Charlotte, or not the Charlotte area, but the Carolinas. So Charlotte, a really good contending team to probably be the last team remaining when we go into Sunday. They might be the only state school left, but we've got a lot between now and then. Already a minute into this last series of the day, and it's about as packed as it can be.
Well, UNCC are starting to get stuck into their defensive half. UTK building a city, it feels like, on the orange, and it's taken them so long to leave it. But that double commit could force them free as Lazy's allowed to step up to that midfield line and push that midfield forward. UNCC going high with this one, and Bala knocks the ball into Knight's hands, but through his grasp, the ball slips. Luckily, he's got Lazy to have his back, who is now having to exit the play as he's got no boost. Knight's in a similar position, and so UNCC might have to concede some space here.
Or not. Finally starting to settle. Oh my gosh, a complete flip. I thought we were going to settle down for a second, but Knight will score off the drop down from Lazy.
Yeah, Taibu, I mean, he must have thought that Lazy was wearing blue because that was a perfect pass just to the wrong team. Lazy stole it from him and set Knight up for an open net, and UNCC will lead.
Still smiles, though, on the Tennessee side. They're here to have a good time, not a long time, but they're going to look for it regardless, and I think they're going to look potentially in this series of all of them. We could see this one go to 4. We could see this one go to 5, but many people in the building probably predict the other way around, but Charlotte have only gotten better as the day has progressed. I mean, and even when you saw Bala's stats, it is a little bit of a shock to see how much he's been involved, let alone how well all 3 have been moving together. Seriously, we're looking at a potential, I think, maybe program-defining win for these Rocket League teams if they continue with this type of momentum. But Tennessee is also one who, as of the last few years, have been on a hot streak, have beat some of the best teams in the nation. And this event, even though it's their first time here in Myrtle, it's no different.
No, even a land environment as crazy as this, I think UTK will be prepared for, but okay, Bala feeling good today, and that's a quick shot. Taibu will stop, but still, Bala sending a warning shot at that blue end, and here's potentially the culmination of said warning. Lazy playing the ball center, but his shot option won't get there before the defense of Shaka arrives just in time. UTK keeping this a one-goal affair, but Charlotte are impending.
Tennessee really struggling for boost here, which is surprising because this team, again, they tend to set the pace out of many of the other teams here. They tend to jump out to early leads. They tend to get loud and really ride that momentum, but Charlotte found a very quick answer to that first goal and even found the lead shortly after that. Now we're seeing double commits, but then just like that, we're going to see a 2v1. Jobro's got to move quick. How about a flick? Top right was the goal, and it will slightly be off. Taibu's follow-up won't be on either. A minute 30 now, and every second that ticks away, Tennessee still struggling to keep this one in.
This is some of their best positioning in offense. One of their favorite spots, I should say. This position in the corner. Done so much good work to center the ball for teammates. UTK have in the series that we've watched theirs on stage. But here UNCC will clog those passing lanes. Jobro will try again. Put the ball mid. Oh, just scored himself. Go off, Jobro.
Well, how about the team captain doing Captain America-esque things? I have not seen a play like that from Jobro in decades, and he's going to whip that one out to tie the game.
Prime Jobro at Boost on the Beach. Could we have been given a better gift? Taken over here at the end of game one to tie us up. So, it doesn't put UTK in a winning position, but man, will it do a lot for their confidence. And now, UNCC looking to get one back sooner rather than later, but Jobro is not interested in seeing his hard work undone.
Taibu able to double jump, doesn't get the boost, but does bump a player out, funny enough. Shaka there for the follow-up on the Jobro 50, but nothing just yet. A minute left to go. Jobro, is there another late reset peak? It seems not to be. Taibu's got to be careful, has to go all the way back. That one's going to be an awkward bounce. A potential area for Knight to go to work, but that will just be a shot on net. Bala, an immediate follow. Lazy's going to wait in the meantime. They don't want the ball first. They want the demo. That style's working beautifully for Charlotte. That one's between two. They're still finding room in the Tennessee corner, but after an awkward pinch, Tennessee does it how Tennessee always does it. They're going to get it by any means, and they get a little bit of breathing room.
Well, Shak was the only player that had boost there for a moment. Taibu has refueled, but UTK were struggling for boost. That pinch that Jobro got off the sidewall was extremely important to alleviate a lot of that Charlotte pressure that was mounting towards the end of game one regulation. Could see overtime here in game one, unless an offense has something to say about that late pot shot from Jobro will make sure Bala's awake on the goal line. Is he awake? I'm not sure, but Shaka misses. That was an open net to take game one, but the Volunteers could still put it in, though. UNCC get the ball to dirt, and overtime is where we head here to start.
I cannot believe we are staring at a plus sign in front of the timer right now. I can't even believe that overtime is where game one lies. Tennessee had a chance. Charlotte, an immediate counter on the other end that aimed for the top right. Almost found it, but Taibu's got to give that one away, and Lazy's got to reset. Both these teams cannot really find their bearings in the midfield, Bevik. I don't know if anybody is truly comfortable, and even that opportunity is close, but Charlotte's got to be retreating once again. Knight on the back foot, plenty of room to go to work. A lot of boost for Taibu, but now it's going to be almost two players that Charlotte work around. 30 seconds left, and they're the favorites in OT right now.
Discomfort is the prime motif for the Boost on the Beach LAN. That's why we pick such a unique venue, and that's where we get some of the star players to start shining bright for their teams, and sometimes even unexpected heroes to pop up. Yes, we look at Taibu and Bala on both sides to make those big impact plays happen, but it could be someone else right here, and it could have been Knight up front to end game one in favor of his Niners, but he is stopped there on the near side, and so we keep going back and forth.
Tennessee, great 50s in the midfield as now both teams try to settle in temporarily. Shaka, though, has room. How about a reset? How about a fake? It's red all the way through. Knight, not enough boost for the counterattack. That ball's given away. Both teams very, very nervously trying to push this ball downfield. How about a double demo as well? And that's going to completely stall out the play. Taibu already up. Does get beat to that ball ever so slightly. So now Jobro has to be careful. Another awkward 50, but it goes directly to Taibu. This is who you want on the ball. Knight knows that, immediately cuts it off, and now Shaka's awkward.
Jobro's got boost. He's the only one on the UTK side that did. Taibu rotating back to grab a couple of pads, but Joe with that boost can't do much other than beat the first man and set up Taibu for a shot. Lazy, the hero that time around for Charlotte on the orange goal line. Will keep us playing on in OT, but now Bala in a 2v1, or a 1v2 rather.
Oh, man.
Had to beat Joe, and then on the goal line, Taibu as well, and he couldn't beat either one as he is stopped, but that allows time for the cavalry to ride in and then promptly retreat.
Taibu looking down, has a teammate. Shot is on. Shot is double. Triple tapped off the bar. I have not seen that. How about another? And Jobro from peak to slot. That's my team captain. That's the guy you root for if you're a Tennessee fan, and for good reason. He is Mr. Dependable.
We swapped games there for a second. We were playing pinball on the Charlotte end. Didn't know if it was going to be Shaka to end it, Charlotte to clear, or Jobro at the end to finish things off. UTK will take a hard-fought game one. Man, TJ, they have had so many overtimes today. I don't know how they're not drained.
Them and Syracuse have put themselves through the ringer. But those are also, again, two different stories. Tennessee, a team who doesn't really care. Charlotte, a team that is incredible but doesn't have expectations they have to meet. And then Syracuse in Group A have all the expectations to meet. So in this matchup specifically, it favors both of them fairly heavily. And again, this atmosphere, at the hangout, the boardwalk at Myrtle Beach, everything sets the stage as the sun sets for what should be a banger best of 5.
The sun setting both here in Myrtle Beach and on the end of day one. I mean, we couldn't have picked a better stage match to conclude day one of the group stage with. We do get a little bit more of groups tomorrow, but the main focus will be on the playoff bracket that we'll use to crown a champion of Boost on the Beach 2026. And it's series like these that set you up for a prime championship Sunday run. Right now, UTK in a decent spot in the standings, but we talked about how stacked Group B is, how it could be anyone's group, and UTK, they suffered a loss early on. They still have tests yet to pass, but this is an important series they have to really focus on to get out of, and 15 seconds in, that focus turned into an opener.
Was that a Shaka double reset? I almost thought got pulled out. UTK's confidence has not changed. It doesn't matter if they're on 5 hours in the past 2 weeks, if they're on 10 hours in the past 2 weeks, or 100. They're going to keep going for these plays. They're going to look for each other. And Bebek, hero ball is not the move, but all these solo plays are working wonderfully for Tennessee.
UTK, a prime example for all the kids out there of what not to do if you want to take this game seriously. They don't grind together. They're low on hours. They show up and have a little bit too much fun sometimes, but good Lord, do they win. 2-0 already. Tennessee are building off their massive game one victory.
This is the dream scenario. You get out to a lead early, then you have the rest of the game to not play too defensive, but now the hardest part is done. Now let the fans get loud. Let your coaches scream at the other team. Let them go to work. Now just keep possession. Don't give an extra shot in a 2v1 like that. As Knight, a great idea, but just slightly off place. And now UNCC's got to reset, but Bala already looking for a peek. That one just barely off, and now here comes Shaka.
Oh, that was almost dastardly from Bala, and he's still going to get a chance. No, he won't actually get a chance. Taibu intercepts that passing play from Charlotte and sets up Shaka to go monkey mode there in the UNCC corner. A tandem passing play doesn't quite connect for UTK, but I mean, TJ, we've watched enough of this team to know they weren't going to turtle up after a 2-0 lead. Taibu's going off the backboard. He won't get around the ball for a shot on frame, but Shaka upfield as well, causing a bit of havoc. He didn't have the perfect read either. Taibu threw him off. UTK, they are not sitting back and protecting their 2-goal lead. They want 3 and they want it now.
Even with the sidewall reads, just jumping at everything. Both Taibu and Jobro fresh off of double side reads now. Now, finally UNCC gets a little bit of room. Bala's got to find something more than that. And I think that's one of the biggest points of contention in this series is that Charlotte are not utilizing the midfield too heavily, not finding each other. How about a pre-jump passing play for UTK? That's what that utilization of the midfield looks like. Speaking of that on defense, great bump from Shaka. It makes Taibu's job a whole lot easier. Jobro hits that one away. We're 2 minutes in. Charlotte finding chances, but nothing more.
Can't afford a giveaway like that, but UTK kind of give the ball right back. Taibu, again, is quick to react in the infield. It's where he's made his money today on the main stage, but UNCC still are given possession. Kind of a gift right there, but Ball does earn an interception that Taibu will field. Ball takes it away from him. We've just got an elongated fight over the ball at the moment. No one's really got opportunities on net. No one's really got possession. The midfield has been our next theater of war. Got a lot of opportunities early on in that UNCC box, but now we've migrated to the midfield line and quickly turned that into a UNCC score.
Right at the halfway point of game 2, you can't really ask for a goal at a better time. Yeah, Jobro had the touch, but didn't get the original one. Had to try and redo the entire play, and it was too little too late. UNCC comes in, attacks, and now they're 1 goal away.
And Taibu missed there in the corner as well.
True.
Set up that awkwardness from Jobro. So a little bit of rough defense from UTK, but that's been the case for them throughout the day. It's never been clean for the Volunteers, hence all of the overtimes against a variety of skilled opponents. But still, that hasn't stopped them, that hasn't shaken them here at the Hangout. And UNCC, similar boat, going down by 2 goals early on here in Game 3, hasn't shaken them. They've still stuck it to the UTK offense after those first 2 goals fell in and are slowly but surely climbing their way back.
Great 50s back from Tennessee. That's one of the, I'll say maybe half parking the bus type of moves you can make, is that let the ball come to you, but not unless Knight will throw it downfield. He'll read your clear, and he will dunk you into a new dimension.
Well, first of all, Bala's setup was phenomenal. The reset into bump mid-air set up Knight for that dunk at crossbar level. UNCC are back just like that. These are experienced players. They don't let the mental game take them out of a 2-goal deficit. They know they can fight their way back. They've got the chemistry to do it, and we've got a prime example of that here on the main stage.
I'm hearing more Charlotte fans get active in the crowd, Bevik. They're starting to get real comfortable now. I think Knight's mom has set a standard for fanfare at the event. Next to the Tennessee's crew, as Taibu almost finds a follow-up. Shaka sidewall read is an option. It's one of the shots of all time. I respect the confidence once again. Is it a little much? Yes, but it's the Knoxville way to go for those plays. Completely tied with 1:10 to go, and Charlotte's got the momentum with both hands firmly grasped.
Big clear for Jobro, but it's right at Lazy, and he sends it right back to the blue back wall. As a follow-up as well, setting up Bala for a backboard double. He'll put it just short. He'll put it nowhere near the net. That was a bad read. I think he was trying to pass it there at the end, but it didn't pan out. And now UTK punishes. 1-goal lead for the Volunteers with less than a minute left.
Last game, Jobro, peak play off the ceiling, a winner in overtime. Bevik, he is 3 for 3 in what feels like a critical game for momentum, and not only they're pushed to second in this group, but one of the best games potentially of the weekend. Jobro has stepped up to a new level.
We call him the UTK retirement home because they've spent a lot of time in the CRL space, but maybe Jobro is a late bloomer after all, finding his prime tonight, looking good, but still in defense, has to get the job done. And right now, off of a Shaka clear, Jobro's moving center, setting up Taibu for a weak shot, into Jobro bump, into Taibu tap in. UTK are firing on all cylinders.
Again, Jobro, the center of everything. All roads run through Jobro Avenue, and he's got full ownership of every inch of the pitch right now, and Tennessee is up 2.
And Charlotte have to do that comeback all over again. The hard work that took them almost 2 minutes of gameplay to erase a 2-goal deficit, they have to do in the next 30 seconds. Otherwise, they've got to reverse to the Volunteers team that feels like they have a full storm pushing them forward. So much wind behind their sails, and that dive-in yields nothing for UNCC. And with time dwindling, it's looking like a 2-0 UTK lead.
10 seconds left, and I'm right there with you. There's not much more that Charlotte can do, but man, what more can you ask for? A 2-goal swing back into this game. You had your chances, you had your shot, but Joseph Broderick decides that he wants to win here and now, and he's 1 game away from doing that.
What Joe says goes, and he has stepped up in game 2 to put Charlotte down, but not out. This is a team that can reverse sweep. We've harped on the chemistry, the consistency in this lineup, the experience in this trio, and yes, at times throughout a long CRL season, they'll have some lows where they're not completely focused on the game. They'll take some bad losses, but man, right here, right now, this Charlotte team can lock in and they can take this series from a streaking Volunteers roster.
Charlotte's first group series game was against Texas Dallas. Texas Dallas hop out to a 2-0 lead. Charlotte grabs 2 games in quick succession, but then that game 5 slipped away. I'm not one for miracles, I'm not one for story or fairy tales, but if anything's been written in the sand here in Myrtle, I would argue that a Charlotte comeback is something that's very much worth the debate.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a miracle. That would be Charlotte getting down to work here on the main stage. Down by 2 right now. UTK are all smiles going into game 3, but let's see if those Niners can wipe the grins off UTK's faces. Kickoff strategy from the Volunteers to start us off. It's a nice passing play, but it is read by Bala there on the back line of Charlotte, though it's still an open net develops. And again, UTK are not interested in comeback stories.
Charlotte on the right side of this play. Knight and Lazy both were rotating in the right area, but Taibu just wins the 50. It goes top left again in the classic Knoxville fashion. You will take it how you can get it.
UNCC win that kickoff, but they lose Knight, who gained all of that space. Lazy next up is out 50 by Jobro, so that moves Bala into position. Jobro beats him as well, takes the ball away, and forces a full retreat from the Niners, who looked like they were going to set up possession off of that kickoff. But Taibu and Shaka have collided in the air, so that leaves Jobro on his lonesome in defense, and he's misread that ball, so Knight is gifted an equalizer, and UNCC strike back.
While Charlotte are trying to get comfortable and find their way back into a controlling nature of this game, you will take plays like this. If Tennessee is going to leave the door cracked open just a little bit, like a tied game 30 seconds in, that means the world for a Charlotte comeback.
It's one thing to punish a mistake like that on UTK's back end. It's a whole other thing to win a game off the back of just straight outplaying them through a full 5 minutes, because UTK have given up goals like that all day, and they still found themselves towards the top of the table thanks to plays like that. Taibu and Jobro have an answer to Charlotte's answer.
Jobro's got a magnet somewhere on his car. He's sitting there in the middle. He's sideways Bepic, and Bala didn't get to him in time. The second man didn't come bump him in time. Those are things that we're used to seeing out of Charlotte every single time. But Jobro on his own timing, on his own schedule, untouched, and Shaka almost had a chance to find another.
Jobro's just been one of those golden boys when it comes to CRL. If you follow Regional Collegiate Rocket League, you know the name here in the Southeast, but another name you're certainly familiar with. Lazy will tie us right back up. We are in for a dog fight here in Game 3.
An absurd redirect from Charlotte will set this play up. I didn't catch which player it was, but that was moving too fast and too high, and a great follow-up. Again, Charlotte are coming alive. I can see it in their play style, but they've got to survive another game.
Lazy could read this in the back wall, but Jobro will get there first, so Lazy elects for the 100 boost steal, and he'll use now to rotate back and have Bala's back as he takes the play away from UTK. Lazy out by Shaka, who can't get back to the ball, and off the backboard comes Bala now. Flip reset gained, pass to Lazy achieved, but nothing more than that. UTK have themselves the ball, and a couple of players looking to connect with one another. Taibu and Shaka up front look pretty good to start, but the play never really transpires, and so we continue to head back and forth, coast to coast.
Middle was left wide open by Tennessee, but now Lazy's all by himself. That could be a follow-up shot. Shaka, backboard, no double. Demos one. Another follow-up shot off the bar will fall away. Double demos from Tennessee. Jobro to Shaka, back off the backboard again. No follow-up yet. Taibu, his shot is off. How about another one? Tennessee will send everybody forward time and time again, but now the Charlotte defense is really starting to wake up. Over 2, incredible follow-up over another Knoxville player, and somehow, some way, we haven't seen the back of either net.
It was a heart-lurching sequence from fans of both of these teams. Crazy defensive stands on the UNCC end, and then a pretty good-looking opportunity for the Niners, but UTK stop it, and now could have themselves an open net, but Lazy's back in time. Shaka couldn't place it on frame, and now Bala has outread the UTK attack. Those passing plays that have been their bread and butter today, Bala's eaten up.
If you're going to make an adjustment, better to do it later than never. And now reading those midfield plays, that has changed the way Tennessee have to play the game. However, another wide open net, no immediate follow-up. Taibu's got to jump in to flick that one away. Jobro just barely getting that boost in time. Has room. Is there more ceiling heroics? How about a dunk and a shot off the board? Taibu went for the fist bump early. Here comes the counter. Charlotte has a pre-jump. Taibu, and that's how things change. Rocket League moves way too fast, and it goes just like that.
Rocket League giveth and Rocket League taketh away. UTK thought they had the lead, but no. Knight snatches that ball from the jaws of the orange net and turns it right around into a lead.
2 minutes to go. Double ego kickoff. Hard sheet from both teams. Demo won't fall through. Lazy's over 2. Taibu's got to find a way over the whole team. He's got the boost. He's got the corner. Flick will not be in the cards, and not even a flip either. Shaka delayed. A weird delayed flick there, but nothing will fall from it. A minute 40. Now Tennessee having to play from behind. We haven't seen them in this situation just yet. And we saw it against ETSU. They know how to fight. But in this series, it's been a while since they've been the underdog. But now a time better than ever to make a statement sweeping win.
Charlotte's mixing up the pace just a little bit right now. The adjustments are being made, but can you stop Jobro? That's the greatest test to your adjustments, especially in defense. Now Taibu's on the ball, but he has to let it go as UNCC's in position again, clogging up that midfield.
Whoa!
But are they there in time for this? Well, maybe. I couldn't quite tell. I was expecting a pass to connect right there. UTK couldn't make it happen. And now once again, UNCC will use a missed opportunity of the UTK attack to potentially set up their offense, but this time around for the Niners, they're not quite as successful as last time.
Tennessee, you're okay with this style, though. You're okay with going back and forth. You're not okay with a flick over your first man, though. Taibu, though, reset, backboard, double, under 1. All 3 members of Charlotte there. Lazy's going to be bumped, but does still remain alive and well as he presses onto that ball. Follow up for Shaka. How about one more chance? That one will be thrashed away. Here comes another Charlotte making a counter. Taibu, great 50, but it's too far and too fast. Lazy trying to fake. Shaka's all over it. Now Bala's got room in the corner. 30 seconds to go, Bevic, and now Charlotte are looking to attack.
Oh, Lazy didn't commit to the fact that Bala might win that 50-50. He turned away expecting a clear, but UNCC have still set themselves up to kill the rest of Game 3 and take one in this series. But Taibu's beaten one. He's on the rock right now and has been so good at facilitating the offense. Passes center. He finds Jobro, but Joe is forced to go sidewall. Now, with the seconds ticked off this clock, Lazy has taken over and can ground this game, but has the ball taken away from him, and Taibu just missed on 0 seconds. He's another opportunity potentially, but turning around in the corner, UNCC will seize on that opportunity to get the ball to the ground and stay alive in this series.
We all need a breather. I can even hear some of the venue getting antsy. I'm loving how much investment there is into this series from not only the Charlotte fans in the venue, but Knight's mom leading the charge. Tennessee, their fan crew, I believe I heard a few miscellaneous cheers for them. This, again, has all the shapings to go to 5, and Charlotte have done the hard part. They've gotten it started, but it only gets harder from here.
Yeah, they've done the hard part so far. That's exactly right. Tennessee are not going to give up without a fight, but now the grins are gone, TJ. It's not quite as fun for Tennessee. Now they've got to lock in and go to work. The same exact thing that Charlotte did in that last game. So let's see who keeps their nerve in the middle of a packed out restaurant right now that is starting to feel the tension in the air as Charlotte take one step forward on their comeback journey.
If I'm in either team's camp, the game plan is fairly simple. Both teams have slowly started to ice out the errors, the misses, the misplayed corner goals. I mean, Jobro unfortunately has given up 2 plays on the corner where he makes a mistouch on defense. That's got to change. You can strike first again, and it will be Jobro. Even when he struggles, even when he skips a beat, he's right back on pace.
This is how they started last game. It is worth noting, and Charlotte was able to complete a comeback. But it is still nice to have the opening goal of any game of Rocket League. UTK will put themselves in an early advantageous position. They've been so good off the opening kickoff, but now you got to defend, and Jobro will do exactly that A fortuitous respawn will put Shaka in position to challenge for that ball, and it's the next best thing, taking Knight out of the equation. But Tennessee will potentially find a way out, though that's a nice toe ball from Lazy.
It took Charlotte half the game. We got to the 2-minute, 30-second mark before they struck first in the last game. And even though they struck late, they struck hard after that, and that's when the game started to shift. So for Tennessee, it is definitely not about holding a lead. It's about a cross-map pinch and a Shaka double, almost a one-of-one type of play, but that one will be on. Net's wide open, and Jobro scores again.
Where have they gone here? Charlotte, I mean, bamboozled by the potential Shaka double tap, but Lazy creeping out of net alongside Knight, playing with each other maybe a little bit too long. They're too in sync right there as they leave the net undefended.
But again, just like last game, Tennessee can score early. That's not the issue. It's about the late game. It's about, can they play consistent enough on the low hours that they brought into this weekend? Can those hours give me 4 more minutes? Can they give us 4 more minutes? Can Charlotte maybe find a slight gap in those hours? Like right here, right now, Knight's play is too high, shot back on. 3 Knoxville players, 3 volunteers will jump, and all 3 with another double commit are gonna find a way to stay alive. Lazy, touch around 1, another double commit. Tennessee have got to get this under control.
Oh, Bala had to get back quick and is actually taken out by Taibu from behind. A crazy sequence. Triple committing in defense is never a recipe for success, but somehow Tennessee makes it work, and they nearly add a 3rd goal to their growing pile here in game 4. Taibu off the sidewall now looking to beat Lazy. He goes low with it, bumps the next man, and Shaka's right behind him on cleanup duty. 3-0 Knoxville.
Taibu, creative as ever, one of the best wild cards in collegiate Rocket League. Not only finds a bump, but then backs it up into another and completely takes him out, and a slot from Shaka will put UTK up 3-0. But again, this is not the part of the game that concerns us about UTK's gameplay. They've got to hold it for a minute, and then another, and then one more, and then we can start the celebration for them.
Yeah, they are not a team to sit back, and that can lead to UNCC given maybe a few more opportunities. There's one of them. Knight will get 1 of the 3 necessary to find a comeback and tie this game up. It's a great setup from Lazy. Shaka's just trying to hope that the shot hits his card, but Knight is too savvy to let that happen.
Well, and again, it's another corner misplay. I mean, Tennessee are having a really tough time surviving out of their own corner, and that's supposed to be one of the safest areas on the entire Rocket League map. So with 3 minutes to go, with a 2-goal lead, we're in a very similar situation to last game. Have Tennessee learned from their mistakes, and can they hold on, or are Charlotte going to come fighting back?
Oh, Jobro stole 100 boosts from Lazy a few moments ago, and that meant Lazy couldn't take the ball up the sidewall, which would have guaranteed almost Charlotte offensive possession in the UTK end. Instead now, it's the Volunteers still hitting in the orange and potentially scoring a 4th, but on the backboard, Lazy was ready for that type of waterfall pass down, and so he intercepts and stops the first one, but a team pinch off the backboard, even that's not enough to break Charlotte free from their defensive shackles.
Oh my gosh!
And Jobro's just out-muscled 2 Niners right there. Flex on them, Joe.
There's certain facilities, certain expectations of a D1 student athlete. You hit it hard in the classroom, you hit it harder in the weight room. And Jobro very much an advocate for the dumbbells.
Okay, Charlotte still have recovering left to do. Felt like a bit of momentum was in their back pocket when they got that opening goal to potentially a 3-goal comeback. But now UTK have reset the 3-goal mark for Charlotte. And with 2 minutes left, the comeback wouldn't be unheard of, but man, would it be difficult.
Taibu reset around 1, but Bala just barely back to it in time. The ball will flick its way all the way across. These pinches are unreadable from both these teams, but Tennessee, again, learning from their mistakes. How about a fake? How about a round 2? Jobro, backboard, open net for Shaka, and another corner placement. 1:40, and Tennessee is up 4.
Oh man, I've been outside. I didn't know ice skating was an option in Myrtle Beach, but Jobro sends Charlotte 2 of their players on skates. 5-1 in a closeout game for Tennessee. Yeah, they drop 1, but man, are they potentially ending this series with an exclamation point.
all of this, and Tennessee have to play back to back. They have to go see Florida Southern up on the side stage, who's been already warming up, waiting on a date with Destiny with Tennessee. And that match, as long as this result remains, will be the direct play for the 2 seed, for a bye. And I hate that it's off stream. It will be on Danger's channel, and it will be a beautiful cherry on top of the wonderful dessert that has been Boost on the Beach.
Oh, center ball. Ball is trying to get something happening, but UNCC a little bit too jumbled in that attempt on UTK's net to find a second. And so the Volunteers will break away, but only for a moment. Knight off the ceiling has put a shot just shy of on target. Come on now, give it to him.
60 seconds now, maybe another chance, but ball is going to be too weak, and Charlotte finding the opportunities, that was never their issue, but these conversion rates are not high enough. And Charlotte, a team that you could argue maybe they were seated too low, and I do agree with that. And they're going to be a threat tomorrow, but as the way it stands, Bepik, I don't think they're going to be a threat today. I think Tennessee are going to walk out of this one alive.
Great surge at the end by UNCC here, but unfortunately they have just simply run out of time. 30 seconds left, 4 goals. Sorry, boys, it is not happening. Maybe you get 1 or 2 now, but UTK aren't letting a thing go in. They want to be at the top of the total saves leaderboard that we're going to show on broadcast, I'm sure, because they are putting up a heck of a performance on their back line, up by 4 here.
Again, I am speechless. When we got this matchup, we were like, you know what, we're going to add a 6 o'clock block to the schedule. We knew it was going to be a great game, but I did not think that Tennessee were going to come alive to kick this game off and only continue to kick it into high gear again and again and again. They are not a threat, they are a contender, and one more match stands between them and almost locking that place up for good.
What an absolute banger. I mean, Charlotte gave Tennessee one of the better tests that you could ask for to end day 1, but the Volunteers staved them off like they've been doing this for 4 years, which for a couple of them, they have. And a lot of those series played against Charlotte. This is a familiar foe for both sides, really. And Knoxville, they get the last laugh in this one, and boy, was it a hearty one.
Well, and we are going to look at the stats in a little bit. I'm going to give our wonderful production team time to get that together. But, I mean, you can probably hear it on stream. Yeah. Tennessee and this crowd are like no other. And if there's a fan favorite, if anybody comes back to watch the show tomorrow, you're going to be rooting. If you're not rooting for a hometown team, I don't see how you can hate or dislike this Tennessee roster.
Oh, they are a joy to watch, and entertainment all the way through that series. Even the blowout game was a fun back and forth. Charlotte gave it their all in Game 4 and showed what they're capable of. But Tennessee seem in prime land form, at least on day 1. But it's important to have a good day 1, but a better championship Sunday. That's when trophies are won. You need to show up tomorrow.
And the trophy this year is as beautiful as ever. The Boost on the Beach trophy always is a wonderful crowning achievement to put in a trophy case. And Tennessee's got a few, and they're filling up some cases already back in Knoxville. But in the meantime, if we have the stats, which hopefully we do, now would be a wonderful time for us to talk about it, because I can already imagine that Joe Bro's goal count must be absurd. It's got to be double digits, bare minimum.
All right, we're going to take a second to make sure it's good. Productions let me know. They're working hard on it. A lot of fires to be put out today. I mean, let's talk about the venue real quick. The fact that we have now put on a successful first day of an esports event happening in the middle of an active restaurant says a lot about the crew that we've got working today, TJ. Boost on the Beach never disappoints.
Well, and I wish that the camera could just spin just all the way around, because the hangout and here on the boardwalk in Myrtle Beach, it is, again, like no other. It is a packed house upstairs and downstairs. I'm sure the B stage is even getting crazy viewership. And there is a viewer section up there, along with our wonderful friends at Rally Cry and Space Force. They've been giving out goodies all day. A huge thank you to them. RL Data Coach has been working in the background, compiling all sorts of stuff that we're going to get to talk about tomorrow. And we're very excited for all of that to culminate. But back to the series for just a second.
Yes.
Man, these replays are the weirdest mix of some of the best goals you've ever seen and some of the funkiest.
Oh, that just sums up a UTK series, doesn't it? That shot from Joe Bro was insanity, and UTK capping off Game 1 with an overtime win as well. I mean, that kind of set the tone for the series, and the crazy offensive back and forth that we were treated to all throughout that best of 5. I didn't know Joe still had a series like this in him.
I mean, Shaka was on fire to start the day. I think Taibu has been settling in. I guess JoBro decided, you know what, 6 o'clock, sun's starting to set. Now's when the night really gets started, and they're already out of here. I mean, I am just, again, I am in awe of the confidence. I mean, even Charlotte had some fakes here and there, had some passing plays, but I don't think they were looking for them as efficiently as Tennessee was. And you mentioned those 4 years. They've been on and off together as a team. They've been playing for 2 years here, and then a year off, and then back to Lance here, and no matter what, that chemistry has not changed. I don't know if any other team can speak to that level of just friendship and trust in one another.
I mean, it's a little absurd, the story of this Tennessee team, where you don't play, you're on low hours. JoBro, I mean, he finds passion for the game only occasionally in CRL lands like this one. They played in one 2 weeks ago, but that was their practice for this one, literally, their only practice for this one. And Joe's putting up 9 goals on 18 shots, shooting 50%, dude.
Well, and again, not 50%, 50% on almost 20 shots.
At
that
10
is
saves.
Unheard of here in this event. I mean, we've seen some crazy super subs. We've seen some team captains. We've watched some crazy professional players make this stage their own, but JoBro, this is like no other. And I was so locked in on those stats, I didn't even catch the others. 9 for 18.
He had 4 assists as well. Tennessee scored 14 goals. JoBro scored 9 of them and then assisted on 4 more. That's 13 out of 14 goals JoBro had a hand in. Absolutely absurd star performance from a guy that isn't named Taibu, who anyone that's coming from maybe an RLCS, like pro Rocket League background, you'd come into this series and expect Taibu to be the one clipping on everybody. And yeah, he had some moments. That's what he does, but that series had JoBro's fingerprints all over it.
Well, I mean, we only have a select minute or two before we got to give things back over to the Hangout crew. So I guess as for closing thoughts, I mean, again, what a beautiful match to end on. This is mine and your only game today before we get, I think, 2 or 3 tomorrow. So a pleasure to share this stage with you once again. And I mean, my Lord Bebic, we are in for quite a show tomorrow.
It's a stage that we have some fond memories already of, and we're making more this weekend. Happy to have all of you watching right now as a part of Boost on the Beach 2026. But that is where we have to end things for the day. I believe we've already added a series to the schedule, so maybe yes, maybe no. Either way, join us tomorrow. Boost on the Beach on Twitch and Syracuse Esports on YouTube. We'll see you there. Maybe we see you later. Maybe we see you up on the side stage. That's up in the rafters of the Hangout here. But either way, pleasure to be on this stage, and we'll see you when we see you.
The beach is where you find your perfect harmony. It doesn't take long to realize this is exactly where you're meant to be. You belong at the beach, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Hi, what brings you to Myrtle Beach?
I just needed to disconnect.
We just needed to reconnect.
We're celebrating 30 years together to the day.
We're celebrating 30 days together today.
When you want to go to the beach, any reason is a good reason.
It's our first trip without the kids.
It's our first trip as a family.
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The beach for any reason, any season. What brings you to the beach? Visit myrtlebeach.com.
Something magical happens when a place becomes your place. It doesn't take long to realize this is exactly where you're meant to be. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The beach is where you shine when you dine, and the moment takes over. It doesn't take long to realize this is exactly where you're meant to be. You belong at the beach. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
So what brings you to Myrtle Beach?
He finally got her big promotion.
He finally gets to enjoy his retirement.
Look, we had to get our big guy out here before his special day.
We had to get this little guy out here for his special day.
When you want to go to the beach, any reason is a good reason.
We came here just for the show.
We come here every year just for this view.
Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The beach for any reason, any season. What brings you to the beach? Visit myrtlebeach.com.